From having these kids just all to myself, just me and them in our own little world, to talking to them on the phone, but making sure at all times that another adult was monitoring our phone call because they were afraid of the person I had become. That was probably the most crushing thing. My name is Joe Martinez, and this is my story. September 11th, the towers fell, and me and a lot of my friends decided to join up for service. That's where I met my ex-wife. By 25, my ex-wife gave birth to our second child, Alexandria. I got to be a dad to both my children. I got to spend time with them and love them and take care of them. We would make videos for my ex-wife of us dancing, and we would send them to her. She was doing her duty as I was back at home. Military life was tough. It was really complex and it was hard. Towards the end of my military career, I ended up getting hurt. I was in the hospital for 28 days and feeding catheters in my neck. It was at this point where I got introduced to pain pills. 30 pills became 60 pills, 60 pills became 90 pills, and 90 pills became 120. To curb the withdrawals, I would drink. It got to the point where my ex-wife decided that our marriage had to end. The judge looked at me and said that I was in no shape, physically or mentally or any capacity, to father my children, and took away all my rights except for 1%. I was a father entitled only. I'd finally lost everything. I lost my place to live. I started getting in debt with the lawyer fees, lost my job. By this time, I had realized that I needed to get help. And so I entered rehab, met a wonderful counselor. There was a lot of tension internally. I was still carrying the weight of being an absent dad. I was still struggling with my past, and that's part of the pain that you carry as you move forward, is trying to reconcile your past with the future that you want. From childhood going to CTK, I knew that this was a safe place. I knew this is where there was community. I remember walking in those doors. My beard was long, my hair was shaggy, my clothes were dirty. The secretaries at the front desk called back for a pastor, and Ron Walton came out into the comments. He immediately just asked to hear my story. He made me feel seen, and welcome, and safe. It wasn't until Easter 2016, it was that moment that I realized what was missing. That was Jesus. That's when I realized I needed to accept that invitation. I remember walking right down to the front, and the pastor's waiting down there. And as I made my way up the ladder and into the water of that pool, and I came up, and the joy and the love was instantaneous. Wasn't all of a sudden my life became perfect. But the wonderful thing was there was a presence and there was a love and a mercy that was surrounding me every step of the way. And I remember going back to court, the lawyers and the judge, they would take my history, they would read it out loud for everybody in the courtroom to hear. And every time it broke my heart. One September, I asked out a beautiful woman named Janine, and in 2017, I asked her to marry me. She came with a wonderful set of skills that God had blessed her with. And she used them to write a wonderful deposition of the change that she saw in me, and of the man that I was becoming, and of the man that was worthy to have his kids back in his life. And I remember the judge looking at me, looking into the courtroom, and finally saying, yes, you can be the dad that you want to be. God really used her to bring it full circle, to make my family complete. The first moment I got to be reunited with my kids, I remember them being cautious, walking over and hugging me and holding me. I got to dance with my daughter. My son's in the background laughing, and me and my daughter are spinning around the living room, and I got to have that all back. And that was all thanks to God. I know what God can do because He did it for me.